Okay, I am here with one of the homies. Been chopping it up with this dude about brilliant things plenty of times in the crib over here, and could not allow this series to go by without having a good conversation with the homie. Tell him who you are, what you're doing, why you do it.
I go by Pop or Pop the Creative. I am a content creator. I'm a coach and consultant, and also the co-owner of this full production studio called the Creative Lounge that we sit there right now.
Okay. Creative lounge,
Yeah.
creativity. That is what I think about a lot. How do we create the future? And I've been saying to people that we know who the founding fathers are. They've created the world we live in, one that many of us have gripes with. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting down and I'm talking to the future fathers, and those future fathers. I want to kind of get an understanding of how those future fathers are going to drive the future of our community. So let's start with creativity and how that is going to impact us moving forward.
I think creativity is a huge component in part because in my mind, creativity allows you to be able to think outside of set boundaries, right? It allows you to be able to explore things and even be courageous enough to explore things, right? And be able to see whether or not those things actually work or not. So I think creativity is going to be extremely important if we're going to be able to build things that last, but also create frameworks and blueprints around those things because we know that they work. So I think that creativity is where it was really where it starts, right? Because that even opens up the conversation of what's possible. Right.
What's possible? I like it.
Yeah,
JT
100%,
possibilities.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So all right. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to be creative. It's 2035. Black community's thriving. This creative studio is Tyler Perry-ish. You know what I mean? You're killing it. You're telling stories about the amazingness of Black people in history and as well as Black people in the future. So we've come together as a diaspora to create an amazing situation for us. What does that future look like, and what do we got to do between now and then to get there?
Ooh, goodness gracious, that's amazing. So first of all, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I definitely like it. I like it. It feels good. I think that looks like collaboration. I think that looks like trust. I think that looks like I think that looks like the willingness to pay it forward. And what I mean by that is I think that in order for us to get to that in my mind's eye, in order to get to that space, then that means that we've agreed that we are going to work together. Number one, we've agreed that we trust each other. We've also agreed that we have a common mission or goal that we're going to work towards, right? And so, with that being said, because of those elements, now we could work together in unison, pooling our resources and pooling our creativity and pooling also our abilities, right, together in order for the agenda to be pushed forward. So I think that in order for even this studio and what I'm doing to prosper, I need you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it just kind of as I'm thinking through it, I think that's where it starts. I have to say, I believe that I can only get there with you, right? And vice versa. If you believe you could only get there with me, then it doesn't become something that we can consider doing. It becomes a necessity. You know what I'm saying? And I think once we get to the point where it's a necessity for you to be successful, and it's a necessity for me to assist you in doing that, and vice versa, then that future is most certainly obtainable.
I love it. I love it, and I like that you talked about trust, because trust is I like to call it like it's a 21st century technology. It's something that people have had fits and starts of and some amount of throughout the course of human history, but almost all of our challenges arrive because of lack of trust. So if I trust that I'm going to come in here and with whether it's pictures or something like that, and you're going to make me, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like look like I need to look, and you're going to do a good job at it, then I am going to tell other people about it, and I'm going to pay more. And you're going to be able to get to grow and develop as a result. I'm going to get to grow and develop as a result. And now 1 + 1 = 11, as opposed to 1 + 1 = 2. So that our collaboration is going to come from our ability to trust one another and believe in one another.
100%.
I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit because it is June and this is Father's Day is coming up. This Sunday. Talk to me about how being a father impacts that vision that you have for 2035.
Oh my gosh, it's everything, man. One thing that I've been aiming to be is an informed father. And that's layered, but really pertaining to the discussion, I think that the more I am embracing the future, looking into the future, learning about the future, and applying those things that I'm learning even right now in preparation, it's incumbent upon me to now make sure that my kids are informed, right? So not necessarily hiding underneath the sand and saying, just kind of hoping for the best, quote unquote, but actually hitting what we're facing head on, because if I do that, then I can utilize it for the good. I can utilize it for my benefit and also the benefit of my children and further generations. So I think that for me, that's really, really been a huge focus. And so the impact of that is generational. You know what I mean? Because if, as we talked about before, trust, collaboration, all of those key elements that are going to help us get to the future, if I'm informed and I'm of that mind and I'm teaching my children that, then this is how we're starting to actually take root. You know what I'm saying? And that becomes something that is, I want to say, even lack of a better word, a requirement moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody being on the same page. And so for me, being an informed father will allow me to inform my children, which will then help them to be an asset to their community, an asset to the mission moving forward.
Love it, love it. And because I trust you, I know that you're going to do exactly what you said there.
100%.
I know you're going to do exactly what you said there. And that 2035 is going to come, and your kids are going to thank you. They're going to thank you for something. What are they going to thank you for?
I think they're going to thank me for not trying to, for giving it to them real. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to thank me for not holding punches. I think they're going to thank me for being brutally honest with them, or honest with them, even when it's brutally honest. And I think that that is going to, in my hope and my prayer is that shapes independent, strong thinkers that are not looking at existence from necessarily rose-colored glasses, although that's necessary and although that's beneficial, but for them to be able to understand the severity of and even the reality of what it is in which they live, and they're not intimidated by it. I've equipped them with what they need in order to be courageous and be able to think through and take on challenges and not run from them.
Okay. I'm seeing these bright young men in their future, and all you do to help them create that, man. So I appreciate the time. Tell people where to tap into with you.
You can tap in with me at Pop the Creative on Instagram. At the Creative Lounge is our studio Instagram page. And yeah, that's pretty much, you can catch me there.
One love.
Appreciate you, brother.